G'day guys, Connor here, we're reading Reddit, let's get straight into it. Okie dokie, kicking things off on relationship advice. This one was written by a throwaway account, and it's titled, My fiance has been sexting with a woman and doesn't consider it cheating. My fiance let me use his MacBook to work from home on Friday since my work laptop had to be sent in to be fixed. He has his text messages go to both his iPhone and his MacBook. When I was using it last week, I saw a text come through from someone that he had saved as Sexy T. I clicked on it and there were months of text history that came up, all sexual conversation, lots of pictures back and forth, all during the day. He even told her the day prior that when he was having sex with me, he was thinking about her. I was really upset about it. I decided to give myself a few hours to cool off and then talk to him about it. I took screenshots and emailed them to myself in case he denied it, which is what he did previously when I thought he was cheating on me 2 years ago. I'd seen some texts and then he acted like I was crazy and imagining things. When I spoke to him about it on Friday night, he did not deny it, but he told me it's no different than watching porn because he's not actually having sex with her. He told me they met at a networking event pre-pandemic and kept in touch. He said she just started sending him hot photos and one thing led to another. He told me he would stop talking to her, but only after I got really upset. I'm still using his MacBook today on Monday because the replacement my company sent won't be here until tomorrow on Wednesday. I decided to go into his messages on his MacBook again, and sure enough, he'd been texting her since around 9 AM. He told her he can't text her much anymore. Then not an hour later, he's texting her that he can't stand not texting her. I didn't even say anything to him. I just packed up my stuff. We moved in together about 3 months ago. I called my former roommate to confirm my old room was still available, which it is, and went back to my old apartment. He tried to stop me and acted like he had no idea why I was doing what I was doing, and that I'm taking things way overboard. When I got to my old apartment, I sent him a picture I took of his text conversation from this morning. Would you classify this as cheating? I think around 90% of people would classify this as cheating, OP. Let's see what the comments think. Of course it's cheating. Whether or not he physically touched her, this is an emotional affair. There is no relationship or interaction with porn, it's just entertainment. He's engaged in a relationship with this woman. I'm giving you major props for moving out and not letting him gaslight you into staying. He's a cheater, and I guarantee when they met, they hooked up, and he's cheated previously. Let him go and move on. Someone else will treat you better. I didn't even need to get past the title. It doesn't matter what he considers is and isn't cheating. You have your own boundaries. You decide what is and isn't cheating to you. If he doesn't like your boundaries, that is fine. He doesn't have to be with you. If he crosses your boundaries, you don't listen to him to invalidate them. Stick by them. After actually reading the rest of the post, it's my opinion that not only is he cheating, he's lying to you about the extent. At the very minimum, I believe he's emotionally invested with this woman, from the language he uses. Also, the fact that he knows her and has met her immediately makes it completely different to porn. Your fiancé does not know the porn stars he jacks off to. Finally, you seeing evidence of the behaviour before, and then him saying it doesn't exist and that you must be crazy, is a classic example of gaslighting. You did the right thing in leaving. Don't falter now. Also, I'm a man and a fiancé. I've experienced this treatment myself, and so has my fiancé from exes. It frickin' sucks, but you'll be glad you got out. Good luck. 100% cheating, and he shows absolutely no remorse. Doesn't even think that it's wrong. Run far, far, far away from this man. You deserve way better. The bare minimum is not sexting other women. He's trash. My ex-partner did a similar thing, swore up and down that it wasn't cheating because they never did anything physical. I asked why he hid it then if nothing was wrong, and he didn't have an answer. I made it absolutely clear that it was not okay. I stayed, and not 2 months later found more messages and kicked him out. If one person has a problem with something in the relationship, then both people should take issue with it. It's not you against him, it's you and him against the problem. If he does not see the problem, then he does not see you as a team. Okay, let's go to an update, 5 weeks later. Last month, I posted this post where I described how my fiancé had been sexting some woman he met at a work conference and I ended up leaving. You can read the details here. Of course, after I left and sent him the evidence, he was apologising up and down and begged me to come back. I told him no, I had enough. Beyond this cheating, and when I thought he was cheating 2 years ago, he's just a manipulative a-hole. I think I've always known it, but maybe I felt like I couldn't do better. I don't know. I'm happier now that I left. I feel like a weight has been lifted off of my chest. A few days after I left, his mother reached out to me and asked if we could have a call. I wasn't sure how much he shared with her, but I really liked his mum, so I agreed. She essentially told me that we as women sometimes have to put up with our men cheating, and it's part of life. She's not condoning what he did, and not condoning what his father had done, but that it's a part of life. She then went on to tell me that he's a good provider and would provide for me and any children we end up having. But sometimes in return for him being a provider, I need to put up with some stuff I may not like. I told her the conversation was over. For those of you with children, if your significant other is cheating, please don't let your child think this is okay. I believe my ex thought he wasn't really doing anything wrong because of what he saw in his family. I never would have imagined I would have had to set boundaries this way. I had a long talk with my mother, and she thinks I did the right thing, and would kill my father if he did anything like that. I understand some people have open marriages, and that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about having a side piece without the other person's consent. I saw a post today on here where a man posted how his wife was Snapchatting her ex. It made me think I should post this update for folks to read. Be strong. The problem isn't you. The problem isn't the person they're cheating with or texting. The problem is them. They don't respect you, and they never will. Everyone reading this deserves respect and love. Make sure you have that in your relationships. I do realise I'm stating this from a place of great privilege, where I have the money and a support system to leave. I understand not everyone has that. If you don't, I want you to know that I see you. You do matter. I appreciate the support and validation I received from my original post. And some final comments. That conversation with his mum made me cringe. Really speaks volumes about how she views herself. Yikes. Opie replies, I knew that we were raised differently. I come from a family of very strong women. Both of my parents always worked, and my mother is an executive at a company. His mother has never worked and really just took care of the home and their family, but his family is much bigger than mine. It was just me and my sister. He is one of 6. That conversation sealed the deal that we do not belong together. If he truly believed cheating is a man's right, then he wouldn't be lying and minimizing the issue over and over. Also, who sends their mum to fight their relationship battles? Ew. Well, ex-boyfriend probably just told his mum the truth without any self-consciousness, and was probably shocked OP didn't suck it up as a matter of course, like mummy did. His mum likely just reached out on her own to explain the facts of life to OP and chastise her for expecting fidelity. Scary. Quote, she essentially told me that we as women sometimes have to put up with our men cheating and it's part of life. She's not condoning what he did and not condoning what his father had done, but that it's a part of life. End quote. As a guy and a husband, I have to say, no it's not, ma'am. It's not reality. It's not just how men are. It's how your man is, and it's the choices that you made. Now, some women are in a situation where staying with the man is probably the best choice that they have, if they're now completely dependent on them financially, but making sure our kids don't ever find themselves in a similar situation needs to be kept front and center. Amen to that, brother. Anyway, guys, that's it for that story. As always, give me your thoughts in the comments below. And leaving that there and moving on to the next. Okay, well, over on True Off My Chest, this one was written by user MajorMeaning1286, and it's titled, I've been pretending to like hiking for 7 years. My 27 female, fiance 28 male, and I met in college, and I was pretty much head over heels immediately. We were friends for a couple of months, and he's always been an active guy. So one day I decided to lie and tell him I liked hiking and offered to go with him sometime in hopes that we'd get closer with some alone time. It worked, since after some time of going on hikes together, where I was absolutely miserable the entire time, he eventually asked me out and we started dating. Our relationship has been good, no major problems ever since. The only issue is that I hate hiking. I've never been an active person, like at all. We live in a state that's very hot most of the year, so I'm completely miserable all of the time on our hikes, but always go with him because it means a lot to him, and I like spending time with him. Last month, he proposed to me, and ever since we've been swept up with wedding planning. He's even started talking about having kids and when we want to start trying to have a family. I feel awful that our relationship started out on a lie, and I love him with all my heart, but I just can't stand hiking. Over the years we've been together, I've tried so hard to get into it, but I still just absolutely hate the activity. The only part of it I like is the fact that we can spend time together alone while on a hike. The worst part is that now that we're getting married, I'm moving into his place, which means I can't make up an excuse as to why I can't go hiking with him anymore, since he'll know I'm not busy if I'm just hanging out at home. If there was any way I could make myself enjoy exercise, I would. Unfortunately, nothing has worked yet. At least he's making me be more active. Yeah, in my opinion, you're going to lead a pretty miserable life, especially into your older ages, if you can't at least enjoy one form of exercise. Your body is an amazing machine. Use it. Honestly, I feel like Opie's best bet here is to find something that she actually enjoys doing and let that take over the hiking aspect of their relationship. Let's go to the comments. 7 years? That's dedication. Okay, you have two choices. The first is to just come clean. That would be ideal, and I do really think your relationship can survive it. The second is to have a bit of personal renaissance. Get really into another hobby, or working out in a gym, or make standing plans with friends. Anything that makes you unavailable for regular hikes. Not ideal, but it gets you out of this mess indirectly. Pick one before the wedding so he doesn't have the mistaken impression that he's marrying a lifetime hiking buddy. 7 years is long enough. Laughing my ass off, girl. Oh, what a tangled web. Come back and share pictures with us in 5 years when you have your 5-month-old on your back in those hiker packs and he has your toddler on his back in this pack. I'm crossing my fingers for you for the honeymoon that you can get your dream no-hiking vacation. What's awesome is how my wife and I both had hiking on our Plenty of Fish profiles when we met and later admitted we aren't super into it. Now we joke about it all the time while not hiking anywhere. Imagine if he's in another sub saying how much he hates hiking, but his new fiancée loves hiking, and how he's been lying for 7 years because he likes the time they spend together, even though he doesn't enjoy it. The cack I cackled thinking about it. Imagine. Okay, Opie updates, 3 days later. Nobody really asked for an update, but I figured I'd give one anyway, just so you all know your advice didn't go to waste. I went to my fiance's house when he got home from work yesterday to drop off some of my boxes of my stuff and ended up telling him. I tried to not be confrontational at all about it and just confessed that I never really liked hiking all that much and only really kept doing it so we could spend more time together, and suggested that maybe we find something else to do together regularly. Apparently, like a couple people guessed, he already sort of knew. He told me that based on how I'd be insanely tired all the time, or always mumbling to myself about the heat or bugs or something, he had guessed about 3 years ago that I wasn't as into hiking as he was. He said he doesn't mind finding something else to do together instead, but he liked being able to stay active and spend time with me while doing it. I offered, against my better judgment, because I love this man, to go hiking with him every once in a while instead of every time I don't have an excuse, so that's the plan going forward. The only thing with the conversation was that he was understandably a bit hurt that I felt like I had to hide it from him, and that he wouldn't understand or would love me less if I didn't enjoy this one thing. Looking back, it was so completely dumb to hide something so minimal from him for so long, and I expressed that to him. He was very understanding and very sweet about it, not nearly as angry as I was afraid he would be when I was dreading having this conversation, lol. And yes, he does still want to marry me, even though I won't be his hiking buddy for life now. Kind of a boring update and maybe not the explosive argument some of you might have been expecting, but there it is. And some final comments. OP, so if he suspected or knew for the last 3 years, has he offered to do anything else but hiking together? Or is hiking the only activity you do? Is he participating in any activities you personally like? Because from what you've written, it's you bending to his wants and not him trying to find some common likes. She replies, totally understand how it sounds that way, but yes, we do other things together. Might sound cliche, but while he's really active, I tend to be more of a homebody. I make art, read, and play video games, the latter of which he does join me in. We also go on non-hiking related dates as well. I just mostly focused my posts on hiking because it was the main source of guilt for me, lol, but I appreciate the concern. If she's inclined to go every now and then hopefully they can plan some hiking trips specifically where it will not be as hot and the novelty of new views will help make it more tolerable. Yeah, good idea. Maybe she's a winter hike sort of person. I personally like both, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Otherwise, that's it for that story, and we're moving on once again. Okay, well, on relationship advice, this one was written by a throwaway account, and it's titled, I just caught my girlfriend texting topless photos of herself to friends. My girlfriend and I have been dating for just over a year now. She wanted to get her nipples pierced for a while now, and a few weeks ago she went through with it. She talked about this pretty openly with a lot of her friends, which seemed kind of strange to me, but it's not really my business what she talks about, so I didn't really care. A couple of days ago, I happened to be looking over her shoulder as she was texting one of her friends, and I saw that she was texting a topless photo of herself. I confronted her about this, and she told me that she was showing him her new piercings. I got pretty angry and asked her how many times she'd done this, and she showed me her recent texts. From what I could tell, she sent photos to 5 guys and 6 girls. I basically flipped out and asked her why the hell she thought I would be okay with that, and she said it was totally non-sexual and she didn't see why it was a big deal. We fought about it for a few minutes and she apologized, but didn't even seem to realize why I was so upset. What should I do here? Am I right to be upset about this? It would be one thing if it was just her female friends, but the thought that 5 other guys had just seen my girlfriend's tits and have photos of her to add to their personal spank banks seriously bothers me. I know some of these guys, and the thought that they've all seen my girlfriend in such an intimate way really pisses me off. These weren't even just pics of her nips, they were full body pics of her topless, wearing just sweatpants, with her face in full view. She basically offered to show them without them even having to ask, which makes it even worse in my opinion. I really don't know what to do here. Yeah, I mean, I kind of believe the girlfriend in that she was sending them in a totally non-sexual way, but that's not really the point here. I think she's clearly, for lack of a better term, more outgoing in that sort of way, but that doesn't necessarily excuse what she's doing here. I think most people on both sides would have a problem with their partner sending topless pictures of themselves to, the opposite sex and whatnot. I mean, also, I feel like a lot of this would depend on what kind of relationships OP has with her friends. But regardless, going by his post, it doesn't sound like he's okay with this, and that's all that should matter. Let's go to the comments. Anecdotal experiences here. I've had 2 girlfriends get their nipples pierced. One of them didn't show anyone that I can remember, and the other showed a lot of people. I was a bit closer to your age, OP, when girl number 1 got hers done, and I probably wouldn't have been thrilled if she was showing her tits to everyone. But I grew a little older, and by the time girl number 2 was showing off her shiny new nipple rings, it didn't bother me. I think a lot of it has to do with self-confidence and jealousy. As I grew older, so did my confidence and sense of self. She wasn't banging every person she showed her tits to, and she was with me at the end of the night. Honestly, if I was in her position, I probably would have done the same. I think you should do a little self-reflection and try to understand why this makes you so uncomfortable. I'm not saying you're wrong to feel the way you do, but you might learn something about yourself if you really sit and think about it. Interesting take. What do you guys think about that? Anyway, on to an update, 6 days later. After taking a day to think about it, I decided to talk to her like a lot of people were suggesting. I brought up that I was really angry about what she did and it violated my personal boundaries. She asked what the problem was, and I told her that I wasn't comfortable with her sending those kinds of pictures to other guys while we were dating. She just said that I had nothing to worry about, and it was totally non-sexual. I was getting pretty angry at that point, so I just told her that even if she really felt that way, it was still a serious problem for me. She asked me why I was so obsessed with this, and I just kind of flipped out and told her to knock it off or we were done. She asked me to calm down and still didn't seem to understand why I was so upset. I was getting really annoyed that she just kept expecting me to explain something this obvious, so I just broke up with her right there. She seemed a little upset and asked if I was sure, and said it was a pretty dumb thing to break up over. I just said I was sure and walked away. I think I made the right decision. I tried a couple of times, but she really didn't seem to give any fricks, so walking away was the best choice I had. There are a million other girls out there who aren't crazy. Yeah, I'm not sure flipping out like that was the right thing for Opie to do, but I feel like breaking up and moving on was definitely the right choice. I feel like her being completely oblivious to the fact that some people would have a problem with this is a bit of a red flag. I mean, it's one thing to have different boundaries and whatnot, but it's another to completely ignore someone else's. And it's not a weird boundary either. It's something that I'd say 80% plus people would, agree with. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, that's it for that story, and that's it from me today. Hope you enjoyed those ones. Thanks for making it to the end, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good day. Cheers.